You started playing chess at a very young age.
I learned how to play chess apparently when I was 3 years old.
You only play over the board.
Playing against another human being and willing to crush them. How can an adult get such a passion for chess out of nowhere?
I've always been kind of like a nerd at heart, you know, in a way. And
For me, this is like a religion. Is that openings don't matter.
so, Dina, I am when?
If I don't become I'm like not gonna forgive it myself.
So how good do you think an adult can get at chess?
You just can't become a grandmaster, I'm sorry.
That's rock and roll. Did you know what that was?
No.
Dina, do you know what this animal is?
No, what is this? I mean, it kind of looks sketchy.
If you had to guess.
Isn't that the one that stinks?
A skunk?
Yeah.
It's a sloth.
Okay, what is it?
Do they not have sloths in Russia?
Oh my god, look at this. Hi, Emily. It's time to do your puzzles. How many puzzles did you do today, Emily?
That's perfect.
When did you blunder your bishop on b4 yesterday? Ha ha ha.
Perfect.
You thought your coach wasn't watching. Ha ha ha.
Oh my gosh, Dina's always watching. It's a beautiful day here in the Queen City, also known as Charlotte.
How has it started for you?
I left my house at 11:30 to pick you up. I waited in my car for 30 minutes for you to be ready, and I was already running late. And then we drove 40 minutes to get here. So now, after we've set up and everything, it is 2 hours after we had planned to start this. So that's okay. You know, it's all in good fun and in the interest of our podcast.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I've learned to expect you never to be ready on time.
I'm gonna make it up.
But
By the way, 92% of you watching this video or listening to this episode are not subscribed. So please, it would mean a world to me and not as much of a world, but still a bit for Emily, if you click that subscribe button.
yeah, do it.
Thank you for watching.
Dina, welcome to the show.
Thank you,
I'm
Emily.
welcoming you this time.
Thank you, Emily, for welcoming me to my own show. Guys, welcome to this episode. The first time ever, we are actually doing it just two of us, no guests. So we are our own guests, and we just wanted to see how, you know, just talking to each other would feel like. So you guys are more than welcome to give us a feedback on this one, because it's a brand new
Format.
Yeah. So
But we also thought you guys might want to peel back the layers a little of the one and only Dina Velenkaya, who you are, and also the chess, of course. We can't not talk about the chess. Women Grandmaster that everyone sees today, what that looked like, the journey getting there, what it looks like today.
Emily was like, your story is so fascinating. I'm like, well, you are a women's grandmaster, title player, and everybody out there is dreaming to become a grandmaster, and you say that they're delusional, so how did you earn that title and stuff like that? And I was like, well, okay, Emily, if you want, we can talk about that. For me personally, what's interesting is your story, because you are an adult improver, just like everybody watching us right now, and you literally represent the passion for chess that people acquire as adults or pick up from where they started when they were kids and then dropped. And you literally learn how to play chess a bit over a year ago, I believe. Mm-hmm. And like straight after that, you started doing chess content, streaming chess on Twitch. You already acquired a very nice community and people watching you. Your audience has been growing. So it is fascinating to me personally.
Okay, well, I guess let's start with you, Miss Dina. You grew up in St. Petersburg, Russia.
Correct.
I was gonna try and say it in Russian, but I don't have the faintest clue how to do that. You started playing chess at a very young age because your mom was a chess coach, right?
Correct.
So what did the early years look like for you?
I learned how to play chess apparently when I was 3 years old. My mom taught me. I still have photos from that actually. I started competing with other kids at the age of 5. And as long as I remember myself, as a human being. I've always played chess. Interestingly, I think my awakening was only when I turned 15 or like 15 and a half, when I was like at this summer training camp with other teenagers. And I was like, maybe I actually like this thing. Maybe I should put somewhat of an effort of my own self into like getting better, because it's cool to actually beat your peers. That's probably when I realized the social aspect, the cool thing about playing chess and, you know, beating others. It also kind of shows you the mentality of like why, let's say, Russian or Soviet kids, like players, have always been good. Because growing up as a kid, there was never a question, why do you play chess? It's similar to why do you go to school? You just do it. Like it's part of the, you know, what you're supposed to do. So that's what chess was for me. And for better or for worse, because I did do it all my life and that's how I gained my title. But also I didn't even know if I liked it. And definitely I would never have become what I have become if it wasn't for my family not making it as a question, rather as a like a must thing to do.
Wow. So basically for the first 12 years that you were playing chess, you didn't even like it. You were just doing it because you felt like you had to. It was like going to school.
Yeah, it was just, I never asked the question. So I would say like, I didn't know that I didn't like it. It's like, I would never make an effort of doing some exercises like you do, for example, before your games, right? I would never make that effort because I would always have coaches who would tell me what to do. And I would just do it as a part of what you're supposed to do as a child.
What were your coaches having you do? Like, I mean, if you weren't doing the work outside of your lessons, like, was it just showing up to the lessons and doing it there, and then you kind of would forget about it?
Yeah, showing up every day to the chess school, to the academy, showing up and then just doing the trainings with other kids. And sometimes like private lessons, doing the training like with the coaches, and of course participating in the tournaments. And every summer we would have like a boarding school, you know, like the boarding summer camps when you travel and you do that. The cool thing about summer camps was that this is where I also learned how to be somewhat like athletic, like playing soccer, playing table tennis, you know, volley, basketball, all those things. We would always do that. Yes, summer chess camps would always be the best part of, you know, of the chess thing.
So basically you were training chess 6 days a week. Like it was...
Maybe 7, I don't know. It's just I grew up with my mom. And there were just 2 of us. And then she would always work. She never took like days off or vacations. So she would always be at work. And it all like even started with the fact that there was no one to babysit me. So after like school or after kindergarten, my mom would just pick me up, bring me to her work. And I would just be sitting with other kids who were probably at start were even older than me. And I would just sit there, like hang around at the lessons. I remember once there was this, because in Russia, they always do this kind of first, like the lesson is like, first you have the theory part. So then you sit in a classroom like kids and you're watching the demo board and the coach is showing something on the demo board, kind of like in my educational videos, like you guys might have seen. And then just imagine that room with full kids. And I remember my mom would always put me in the front seat, of course, because she wants me to like, you know, learn. And once I literally fell asleep and she yelled at me. And I was like, why are you yelling at me? I'm bored and I want to sleep.
How old were you?
I don't know, maybe 5 or 6.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, that explains it. That's a young age. I don't even know how you can like comprehend chess at that young of an age.
You can definitely, you know, I just played this FIDE Southeastern Open last weekend, and there was a kid who is 7 years old and he's already 2000. His name is Ruben and he's the #1 player in the world.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. So basically, I mean, the youngest, 3 is probably the youngest you can start playing chess.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, like a lot of kids aren't even, I guess they're kind of like talking at that point, but how do they, to me, it's like, I have a hard time understanding it as an adult. How does this little person that like doesn't even have a fully formed brain like understand this, you know?
So one of the things why like kids are picking up chess faster than adults is, in my opinion, because they do not overthink it and they just do what they're told. They trust their coach, They don't argue. They don't question what they're supposed to do. So they just follow the instructions like dogs. So yes, you can train them way easier than adults because they're just going to do what they're being told to.
This is what Dina's aspirations are for her students. She just wants them to listen to her, control the center, develop your pieces, castle.
Speaking of controlling the center, Emily, did you set up this board?
Uh-huh.
Well, sweetheart, there's a little issue here. Also, just for the record, this is still wrong.
I know.
How?
The white squares are supposed to be on the right. I noticed that after I set it up, but I realized I didn't think anyone would notice. But now that you've pointed it out.
Oh my God, so bad.
What?
It's okay. I'm teasing you. No, it's fine. You did. Like, thank you
All
for
of
setting
my
it up.
hard work.
Yeah, thank you for setting it up. But yeah, what were you saying?
That you just want your students to be like those children and listen.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem with adults. They just don't trust their coach. They're always thinking that they know better.
Well, I feel like for me, as sort of an adult improver and someone who learned chess later in life, it's like there's also just this problem of there being an abundance of information out there where it's almost to a point of where it inhibits you because you watch a YouTube video that tells you,
to do one thing, and then the other person tells you to do the opposite. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like you, for instance, you always preach like you don't need openings up until a certain level, but then you see these videos of all of these like opening traps that your opponent could be playing on you, and so then, it's like, I feel like if the internet wasn't out there and there wasn't all of these chess resources, that I think it would be easier for people to follow instructions. At least that's my opinion, because I'm always in the back of my mind cross-checking it with something else I've heard,
Yeah, like too much information, right? Mm-hmm. I'm a strong believer that in chess, not everybody can be a coach. A lot of people are really damaging others with their bad advice. And the better you are as a player, oftentimes the worse you can be as a coach. Any one of you guys or most of you guys are watching this episode and you're in the journey of improving as an adult, like Emily, and you have a grandmaster coach, most likely that's not necessarily what you need. If you are below 1800 FIDE, you definitely don't need anyone stronger than an FM as a coach. Like definitely, like 2200 with a good foundation, 2300 is more than enough. I point out the ratings of FIDE over the board because there is a huge gap of your online rating. It's about like 400 points.
I've always wondered about that because logically to me, it seems like it should be reversed, where it's harder because online you have far more players and therefore far more competition. And therefore it would make sense that like it's that much harder to get to the next level, where like, why is that? I mean, obviously that's true. Like your FIDE is always less than.
It depends for people though. One of the things is that first of all, you have so many more games played online. So there is more like people play more with each other. So therefore they can farm more rating. Like think about the number one player on chess.com, Hikaru. He's like 32 something and his FIDE is only 2800. You already see a 400 rating difference. So like all like top GMs who are 2700, 2800, they're going to be 3100, 31,000. Like Dina Naroditsky, he's like 2600 FIDE and he is like 3100 online. So it's also like amount of games that you play. Mm-hmm. It's probably coming from Gotham and Gotham Chess. You are at fault for this, but like guess the Elo is so wrong because you are not guessing the freaking Elo. You're guessing their online rating on chess.com. Chess.com rating is not an Elo. Elo is like a system official name for FIDE rating. But that's like besides the point. I'm just being nerdy. Speaking of why the ratings are different, it also depends on what's your level, how you play chess, where you most used. Like someone like you who started online, you definitely have way more experience playing online, so you are stronger and better playing online because you learned, like you got your most habit at playing at the 2D board, and now playing at the 3D, at the real pieces, it's just you're only starting. On top of that, do not forget that ratings below 1000 do not really exist in FIDE. Mm-hmm. And even like for you, you don't have a FIDE rating. You don't have an Elo. You only have USCF, United States like Chess Federation rating, right? Which is also like completely different. And sometimes those ratings, they even have like different mathematical like numbers, how they're calculated. So yeah, they're all different. I never played online ever. Like I literally started playing online only because I started streaming. And that's like, I'm from a generation,
If anyone has looked at Dina's chess.com account, there are literally 0 games because, well, except against
all my students, yeah.
you only play over the board.
Yeah, it's like for me, it's not interesting playing online because I grew up playing over the board. And for me, the main motivation in chess is the competition. Playing against another human being and willing to crush them. You know, it's all social. It's all like a battle, you know, of characters and stuff like that. And it's like trying to overpass yourself, right? I think my first FIDE rating, I was already of the level of a candidate master when I got my first FIDE rating, and that was like 1873 or something. My best friend, her first FIDE rating was straight 2100. Like first FIDE rating, because those were also different times. And in Russia, we didn't have our national rating like they have in the US.
Which is surprising because Russia is like the chess mecca.
Yeah, but we still have these titles, right? So like a national master, I was already a national master when I got that title, and she was as well, which is like in US a 2200 rating. Our system in chess in Russia dates back from the times of all the sports have the same system. For instance, you can be like a third class, second class, first class, and then candidate master, and then master of sports. That's the highest. So I am like a master of sports of Russia, which is like you get when you, I think, become 2300 for women. You can be master of sports in swimming, master of sports in gymnastics, master of sports in like figure skating or chess. It's all the same title.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little more about the Russian chess scene growing up, because you said, you know, it was never a question. It was kind of just like going to school. And is that because the majority of people in Russia play chess?
Kind of, yeah. So they have chess as like something additional that the kids can do. There are a lot of institutions, like the city where I come from, St. Petersburg. I think it's about 6 million people. Probably there are like, I don't know, like 30, 50 different chess clubs. Different clubs play different leagues. Let's say to qualify to the championship of Russia for like kids, you need to win the championship of your city. Also keep in mind, like sports in Russia, just like education and medicine is for free. My mom, who works at the chess school, she is kind of working for the government. So she gets the salary from the government, right? And like kids who come there, they can come for free. And whenever kids go to the school and they do chess as a recreation, it's also for free. Other than this social economical aspect, indeed, it's a culture. Interestingly, now Russia is definitely falling behind and losing to India in the amount of like grandmasters. I think that for the first time in a very long while, there is no Russian in the top 10.
Wow.
I think so, yeah. I think last of our, like, obviously Nepo was so close to become a world champion, but also Karakin had a really strong chance. Randomly, yesterday we were watching some videos with Peter, like at night, some games, and we were watching how Karakin was beating Carlsen. Peter was like, hasn't Karakin's score against Magnus was positive before their match, and their match was really tight, and Magnus got lucky in a way. That was 2016. So back then, Sergei Karakin could have been a champion already. That match was in New York. So it's like, yeah, we were always close, right? So I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I wonder why that is. I guess more competition. I mean, the Indians are definitely bringing the...
Yeah, Anand kind of changed like the India, yeah. And he brought, and even like if you think about the one and only Mr. Vladimir Borisovich Kramnik, who actually, after he went to, like, he retired from competitive chess, he went to India and coached, did so many training camps with those young Indians. Like, I'm sure Gukesh was in Prague, and Arjun, they were all those kids in his training camp. So, you know, maybe Indians are so good because they were taught by the Russian school of chess, more like.
Yeah, the Russian school is definitely, being a student of it, of your version, which you have said, like, basically the school is based off of the Russian curriculum that you learned, right?
Yeah.
Growing up.
Yeah, and we designed together with my team and my fantastic coaches, our fantastic coaches in school, we designed this curriculum, which is based on the method how I was taught and we all were taught, you know, and it basically, I would say the main motto, if I can say so, is that openings don't matter, and you just need to be able to use your brain. When I say I will teach you how to use your brain, is that I will teach you how to come up with a move in any unknown opening. Like, for example, Emily here is freaking out about some like random opening traps that her opponent would see just like of some up next on YouTube of Levy's, you know, fried liver attack. So I say control the center, control the game. So I just like play e4 if I want to have more active game, or like d4 if I want to have more control and more solid position. E4 more sharp, d4 is more like kind of solid, strategical, and like do whatever you want to do. I'm not afraid because I will always be logical and I will see what do you want exactly. You want to do this? Okay, fine, I'll take it. You know, your next move. So you just take it move by move and you think with your own head and you think what does your opponent want? And you see, of course, they want some sneaky little out there, and you can beep that word, editor, but you're just gonna refute it on your own because you're smart enough and you have the control of your pieces.
Just how you teach is very interesting in that it is so like simple. And I think it makes me feel like, oh my gosh, chess is such a simple game. And then I go play and lose, you know?
You lose through tactical blunders, right?
Yeah.
So that's also an easy fix. And chess is a simple game. And like, I swear to you and all of you guys watching, every single rule I teach, to you it might sound like these are just some stupid advice that you'd give to 500s. I implement them in my own chess every single time. Did I take control of the center? Did I develop my pieces? Did I castle? Are my pieces better than my opponent's pieces? Did I put my rooks on the open files? Like, what is my worst piece? How can I improve it? What is my opponent's threat? If no threat, I improve my worst piece. Yeah, just like that. It's, for me, this is like a religion, seriously, whenever I'm playing chess. And I rediscovered them as an adult. I did learn them as a kid, but those were more like instincts. Sometimes I wasn't aware, but really asking yourself all those questions while you're playing is super helpful.
Wow. Yeah.
But Emily, tell us a little bit about your story. This is so fascinating to me. Like, you literally just learned how to play chess a year and a half ago, and then straight you got so passionate you wanted to beat everybody, and you went into streaming, creating content, and now you're like one of the most, recognizable streamers out there. How on earth can an adult get such a passion for chess out of nowhere?
Like many, I saw the Queen's Gambit and I had like this, oh my gosh, chess. Like, I knew how the pieces moved. I was like, I'm gonna play chess, and created an online account and was like humbled super quickly. But actually, it was when I was at a bar and these guys were playing chess in Charlotte, of course. And I was like, oh, chess. Like, I was watching the game and they saw me watching and they asked if I wanted to play. And I was like, sure. I ended up like losing every game. But like the social aspect of it, I just really was drawn to. And playing over the board as well, because I hadn't really done that. Like I said, I created this online account and I played like a few games and I was like, this
against bots, right?
I don't remember. I think, yeah, it was mostly bots. I think I may have played a couple people and that was like what turned me off to it for some reason, because the messages of like the snoring, like we were talking about, like the snoring emojis.
But is it like, I was so confused. Is it the bot or a real person who sends the snoring emoji?
It's a real person.
A real person?
Yeah.
No, and what does it mean? Like, you're too slow?
Like too slow, yeah.
Oh.
Well, choose a faster time control then, But anyway, and then I was and so I would get like tilted by these people messaging me. This was literally a handful of games and talking crap and then losing. And then I was like, oh, this is just awful. Why do people, like, I liked the idea of playing, but in my mind I was picturing like this like elegant like Queen's Gambit playing situation. And in reality, that just wasn't it. But when I found this Charlotte chess community of all of these people who were, adults who weren't like necessarily grandmasters or anything, but were pretty strong players, like playing and just making a fun time of it and going to, like different places and playing, I was like, oh wow. I've always been kind of like a nerd at heart, in a way. And so I feel like I really resonated with the community because I was kind of like, oh, these are my people. Like, I feel like I have a lot in common with them outside of just like the chess. So it was really like the people that kind of got me into it. But then, I've always been like, kind of like a high achiever, I would say, like in academics and business and sports that I did growing up. So like very competitive, and chess was like, it was just like this thing that I just felt like I couldn't quite, I'm not good at it. And like, that's what keeps motivating me to come back, because like, and I know I never will be, but I think that that's like nobody will ever be good,
Yeah.
unless you're Magnus, right?
Yeah. And even he is now losing to, Indian kids. So he's also like not as good anymore. So yes.
Yeah. But it's like, it's just the pursuit of trying to get better, and like every, when you have, or every cool move or all of that, it just like really motivates me. So Yeah, I'm still playing and still kind of wondering, like, what am I doing with myself with this game? Like, but I do love it. And although sometimes I wish I didn't.
Yeah, you're one of the very few people who I've seen, and in a way, I'm actually like that as well, is that you get even more motivated when you get humbled.
Oh my gosh. Even on chess.com, like if I have been kind of on this winning streak, I'm like, okay, I'm good. You know, like I'm just going to chill for a while. Where like if I lose 3 games in a row, I'm like, oh, I can't, you know, I can't let it, like I literally can't sleep that night because I'm just thinking about the fact that like I can't be losing all of these games. And if I have a bad tournament, I'm like, okay, you know, I got to grind and, you know, do all the puzzles and watch the videos and do all the things that you tell me not to do. But
No, this is cool. I love that. And I definitely, like for me, and I've always been saying that chess is a sport, first and foremost. So you gotta have a competitive mindset and like a mentality of a competitor, which definitely helps because you want to be motivated to win. You want to be upset when you lose, and you want to like have that drive, willing to take challenges, definitely. And even for me, like sometimes even just the fact of focusing on something and being able to be in that zone, you know, of calculating moves and not hearing any music or sound anywhere because you are like hypnotized in that like thinking process on the board. This is like so good. Like that feeling when you feel like, oh, I was smart today, you know, it's really great feeling.
yeah, that's actually something that's very surprising to me playing over the board because I'm kind of like I do have ADHD. I don't like take it's like mild. I don't take medication for it or anything, but like I've was diagnosed with that as a kid, and like it totally makes sense because like I have a hard time kind of like focusing on things. But during chess, it's like if I'm playing an over the board game, the time just goes so quickly, and like I'm just sort of like engrossed in the game and the position, and it's just like a really unique thing that I don't think translates to much else in life, really.
Yeah, and a lot of that is because it's a competition. So you are in a kind of in a stress and adrenaline, which really stimulates you to not get distracted by anything else because you were, you know, in the zone.
Yeah, which it's funny because like people who have only played online probably haven't experienced that. But like I think online it's kind of, I mean, it's a short game, one, and you can always just like play again. So I feel like there's less stakes in it, where when you're spending 3 hours playing a single person in a single game, it's like the adrenaline, the heart rate is so high. Even just a casual game sometimes over the board, and like my heart rate tracker will be like, how was your workout? You know, I was like a runner growing up, so I did like track and cross country, and cross country was, but it's kind of like resembles the feeling of like about to start a race. But I feel that the entire game, like every time a piece moves, you know, it's just like never goes.
Yeah, and I can see you, like yesterday I was watching your stream, every time your opponent makes a move, and if you didn't expect that move, you can tell right away because you don't write a move. You are just like frozen there on the board trying to figure out, and then you're like,
yeah.
even the way you write the move when you're surprised by a move, like you're like so much focus, so much thinking. Last winter, I think this was one of your first events, Charlotte Open, or the winter, and I was watching your games. You were just so intimidated by the fact that you have a clock. Even though you had 1 hour on the clock, you were playing so fast, which was making me like tilt so hard. I wanted just to come and, you know, like slap your hand, like just pause. As they say in the Russian school, put your hands under your ass, you know, when you want to make a move. But yes, all those feelings are definitely unique. And if you are passionate about chess and you are like thinking about, should I play? And you are like in over the board and you are like afraid, don't be, because this is definitely a unique feeling and something that makes you get out of your comfort zone, which is amazing, and which is like the benefit of chess, getting out of your comfort zone, challenging yourself mentally and physically, of course. And you gotta be fit. That's like no like doubt, because a game of chess, as you were mentioning, you're checking your watch, a game of chess, like you can lose in 2 hours of a competitive game of chess. You can lose as much calories as if you ran like 8 kilometers. I don't know what's that in miles, but you lose more calories with intellectual, so to be intellectual, like intense activity rather than physical. Well, I think stress is a mix of like you're making your brain kind of like work, but you also stressed and you have that adrenaline, so your whole body is like really into it. And for example, me, after walking away from a 4-hour game, my whole body hurts, my back hurts, because you were like, you were sitting. So yeah, for those reasons, you really need to exercise because you need to have your back muscles strong enough to like, to sit in that, posture. But what I wanted to ask you, I'm particularly curious, is like, okay, so you got that passion, you got a grip of that feeling of, okay, I want to beat him. Like, I want to crush him. I want to get better at this game. But how on earth did you like start streaming?
I have my own business, and actually like I had a couple businesses at that time. And like one was kind of in its infancy, and I was trying to basically determine where that was going. And anyway, every minute I was spending playing chess, I was like feeling super guilty about it because it was taking me away from my business. You're in these years where you should be grinding, like you can't have hobbies, like you should save those for later in life. And so I just was like, but I really love this and I'm kind of addicted to it and I can't really stop. So how do I justify this to myself? And I was like, I'm just gonna stream and like see what happens. And then if people are watching, and I'm like making some money, then I'll feel like I can kind of justify it, in my head as like a productive use of my time. So basically I've just been lying to myself with with that motto or that like mentality ever since. Yeah, so still playing chess, still spending far too much time doing it to little benefit other than my own enjoyment, really.
But this is like the thing about high achievers, as probably we both are, is that they say it's very important to have hobbies, to have that work-life balance, which is probably not a thing for us, but still, like you could also justify it like that. You like, girl is allowed to have hobbies.
No, I can't. It's like the only hobby I'm allowed to have. Like, this is just how my own brain works. The only hobby I was allowed to have was like fitness, like working out. And that was my hobby.
But that's not.
Start playing chess.
Wait, but that's actually a must because you have to take care of your body.
Yeah.
So it's not a hobby.
But that's why I was allowed to have that as a hobby.
Wow.
And so.
I didn't realize we have so much in common. That's beautiful. I'm curious, do you watch like movies or TV series?
Well, only to because it's like a social thing with like my, partner.
Okay, so if you had a choice, would you prefer not to watch them?
Yes, absolutely. Like if I was gonna watch something, it would be like a chess video, like a Dina speeder. But like then even so, like streaming has helped me justify that. But like before I started playing chess, I wouldn't have done that. Like I would have rather been, occasionally, okay, I'm kind of lying. Like occasionally I'll have like some sort of trash TV that I'm like into, like Love Island, for instance. But like that's like
you're into Love Island?
Yes, but like that's literally once a year. Okay.
Oh my god.
And it's just like a nice kind of like reminds you like.
Do you also watch Sister Wives?
No.
Shout out to Tony Padron, aka Chess Sharks, who's a superstar of Sister Wives.
Yeah. No, I don't really watch like much. I just have like there's a couple shows where like I'll watch it, but often times like it would sort of just be playing in the background while I was like I actually never watch TV without like working while I'm watching it. So I'm not like really watching it. Like I'll have my laptop on the couch and I'm like doing stuff like productive usually.
Wow. And
actually the crazy thing is since I started playing chess, I do more of my like work during that time because like it's like I don't have to be the work that I don't need to be like fully focused on because now like you have to be if I'm doing chess stuff I have to be like fully focused on it, so like if I am sitting at my desk like that's when I play chess or I do like a chess thing where if I'm like on the couch kind of like watching something then I'll do kind of the more mindless parts of my job, if that makes sense.
Yeah, my favorite highlight of our Vegas trip when we filmed this freestyle with this podcast at Freestyle was that every time I would be just, like catching up with like my work, which is creating content or like preparing. And every time Emily would have to wait on me, she would always play online games like every day, or she would do puzzle rushes. That was insane. I was like, girl, you work more on your chess than I do.
A lot of my work, it requires me to like be kind of in the zone for like a prolonged period of time. And like, I don't like to start things and then just like be interrupted. So if it's like, for instance, I'm like between meetings and I have like 15 minutes, like that's when I'm usually playing chess, which is bad. Cause then like, if it's going poorly, then I get done with my meeting and then I go back to it. Let's say everything goes smoothly. Like I win my games, then like I'm happy and I like check the box because it's just something to like fill that little piece of time. And so when I'm waiting on Dina, for instance, she should be done soon. So like I'm not going to start working on my real work. So I play like a game of chess and then she's still not ready. So I play another game of chess and then she's still not ready. So then I'm like, well, I could have completed this entire project in this time, but at least I got some blitz games.
This is like when you tell me that you have ADHD, then I don't believe that, because my ADHD is that I can like do work in any split of a 3 seconds, and that's how I always do, like on the go, like whenever we are, like I always work from my phone, because all I need is just sending feedback to shorts to my editors and sending them ideas and replying what's like the caption here, right?
Yeah, that's not like the majority of my work. It's more like creating things or building things or like setting up things or like putting together reports, and like it's not like a quick little thing. It's like I have to kind of be focused on it, which is hard for me, honestly. But actually the most helpful thing, this is like totally random, just like a little like life hack if you have a hard time focusing, because I do, and this has helped me tremendously, is I have a walking pad under my desk, and when I'm walking and working, it like really focuses me. I really get like so much more done, which is crazy.
So you have this walking thing and then you are standing.
I have a standing desk and then I walk under it while I work, and I swear, like, it is so much more productive for me to do that. I don't know why. It's just like does something to my brain.
Wow.
Where maybe it's because I'm like distracting myself.
Because you were doing two things at the same time, right?
Yeah, maybe.
I love that. Yeah.
Anyway, you could maybe benefit from that.
Definitely. My favorite thing, let's say whenever I'm talking to my friends on the phone or like my family for a while, I always want to do something physical. Let's say I'm like cleaning my room or I'm doing laundry, you know, folding the clothes, like whatever. I remember once when I was posting on Snapchat, like I needed to post like 100 stories because I was testing Snapchat monetization. And a year ago, so I went to do that on, I think it was like a staircase in the gym, you know, staircase. And on that staircase, I'm like, you know, trying to post. That was funny. Or like on the bike. On the bike was more challenging because you have to have one hand on the bike and then something like that. And then it's hard to.
Really?
But
I feel like, oh yeah, I guess
it depends. Yeah, it depends on the kinds of bikes. But that was funny. Back to you and your story. I want to imagine physically, how has Emily, who, found a way to justify herself time spending in chess, how has she actually got into, I am going to be a Twitch streamer, I'm going to be a YouTuber? Like, how did that happen, like, technically?
Well, technically, I said, I want to play chess. How can I justify this? I think I Googled how to make money playing chess, and like it said, like, streaming.
So you literally Google how to make money play on chess?
Yeah, well, I do, like, I come from like a content marketing background. Like, that's what I do for a living. Pretty much any hobby you have, you can monetize it with the right strategy. Chess was like weird because I didn't really know anything about it. And gaming, I had literally zero idea. I didn't know what Twitch was or anything. So I just like watched a video how to like use OBS. If I'm gonna play chess, I have to stream it. Which has since changed because I'm just so distracted. It's so hard
for chat, yeah, because you were creating a show there. You're not there to focus on your games. You're there to entertain people.
Exactly, yeah. So it's definitely like I definitely play way better when I'm not streaming.
Yeah.
I kind of made this goal that like by the end of the year, I don't even want to say it out loud because it's not gonna happen.
Oh, go worry. I love goals.
Okay, well, I set a goal that by the end of this year I wanted to get 1,800 online. I realized my rating has not changed basically in the past like 3 months. And it's because I was mostly like on stream, I lose more games than I win. So in order for me to offset that, I kind of have to like focus on the chess and like play off stream. But then because of my strategy of like trying to just basically work this in between things, I've been playing more blitz games, which is not the rating that I even care about. And then anyway, it's like a very it's a personal problem that I'm dealing with of just...
What you could do is that when you have those 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you could just do puzzles. Like Puzzle Rush is 3 minutes. They're good for ADHD, you know, like just 3 minutes, you have this quick thing. And then you're still working and it's going to be super helpful to any chess that you want to do. What's your highest? What's your peak?
I was like so close to 1,500. I want to say it was like 1,485 or something, but now it's like 1,450. I don't know.
Okay, well that's like the same. 48. It's just a matter of one game. Come on.
But I needed one game to hit 1,500, and I just like lost like 6 games.
Okay, now you're 2 games away. But I totally think it's doable by the end of the year. 1,800, because it's 1,800 online, and you're only 300 points away.
Yeah. When you put it like that, I will say that your method of teaching and just like in general, like my biggest aha moments where like I feel like I've really improved like quickly in a quick period of time, it's when I really like realized the simplicity of it and just took like a very simple approach. You know what I mean? Like the way you teach it is in the Russian way of just being like control center, tassel, improve your faces. Like literally, if I'm thinking that way, I play much better. And it's just a matter of like training myself to do that. All of that's to say that you guys should listen to Dina because like it is good advice. It's just, I think you have to, it's not just geared towards like 500s. Because I did think that when I first saw your videos, I was like, oh, well, this is for like someone who's never played this game. I'm like an 800, so okay, like it's beyond me.
And this is exactly, and by the way, you were also, the feedback that you gave me is that you were annoyed, like frustrated that the videos looked like they were YouTube videos, and which ever since, by the way, guys, anyone watching for you, we just dropped Russian Chess School 3.0, which is a complete new revamped program with fresh new videos, which are not made for YouTube. These are very different. You will see, you can try it for free anyway. But I'm very flattered to hear that. And although I do think that when I started giving you that advice, that was in Vegas when we were playing and you were still losing. So I was worried that that was changing your system, whatever you were doing in the middle of the tournament. But I will say the best, like step number one is hearing all those advice and willing to follow them. Mm-hmm. But step number two is actually learning how to apply them in your games. And unfortunately, most of the improvement is going to be done when you are playing a quality game. Like let's say yesterday you played 3 games and then you're showing them to the coach. That's why I've been encouraging you for a long time to book that one-on-one with one of our coaches to show them your games. And kind of every month you can do that checkups, you know, like with your coach showing few games. Because sometimes you know what you're supposed to do in theory, but you don't understand how to implement it, or you're thinking that you're implementing it in the game, but it's actually not the right fit and it's not implemented the right way. And that's when you're going to be repeating the exact same mistake over and over again in your games. And that's why you need someone who actually has this figured out. All that to say, guys, like very important to analyze your games either with yourself or with a coach, but like do that work.
How would someone go about analyzing their games on their own?
So essentially, you just click at the game review button, and then you try to see what is the what are the mistakes that you were making, and what the mistakes that your opponent were making. And then when your opponent were making mistakes, most likely you were not punishing them. So that's when you would do mistakes as well. I will say that the feature that has AI coach, like a bot coach on chess.com, which is like the coach explaining you, most of the times the stuff that they're saying is total bullshit. It's like not making any sense, but that's just because AI is not there yet. And that's when you should be asking yourself questions. Like, for example, computer says, like the bot says, this is not great because you could have done this, and you don't understand why. So you need to play those moves out, make it on the board and see what is going to be the lines that your opponent, like the computer recommends. Essentially, you need to learn how to talk to an engine with, you know, those recommended moves, like 3 lines. So you have a question like, for example, why this move is bad? Play it out and see what the computer is going to respond, and play it out until you actually understand. So play the best moves. Or let's say computer says that this is a mistake that I did. I don't understand why. So look at the moves that he's recommending for your opponent, which is going to be the refutation of your line. And by the way, I have an article on chess.com, which is for free, how to analyze your games. You can check it out as well.
Oh, okay, nice.
But like long story short, you really need to learn how to work within like that game review feature, or like with an engine, as I say. And also, if you have the opportunity, definitely do that with a coach. Something
interesting that Caden, who you know because he's your coach, Grandmaster Caden Truff, he also recommended, which I haven't yet instilled this because I think it's probably it might apply to stronger players who can like do this, but he said you don't even need to go through like line by line, but just look at kind of the parts in, like assuming you lost the game or you were in an uncomfortable position, like what about the position was like uncomfortable or that you didn't like, and kind of like how did that come to be, so you can avoid that in the future. So
probably if you want to really like analyze game move by move and do like the professional work, it's going to take you like 2-3 hours, right? So you don't want, I used to do that, yeah, like 2-3 hours, especially when you annotate it. So you write your thoughts, what you wanted to do, and which is why it was good or bad. Yeah, this is like real stuff, but you don't need that. Yeah, indeed. You like when you do a game review feature, you have those moves which are red, huge mistakes, blunders, and then there are imperfections, some errors, some inaccuracies. So just try to go through those for both colors, and that's already going to be great. But definitely, like, you cannot improve if you don't analyze your games, because again, you're just going to repeat the same mistakes over and over again.
So what level of player needs to be spending 2 to 3 hours reviewing their games?
Oh, that's like title players. Like, yeah, that's like, or players who want to become title, let's say like candidate masters or like 2000s experts, everybody's starting from expert. 2000 FIDE, by the way, expert.
Okay, back to your chess stuff, because I am curious. The majority of kids in Russia are playing chess, and you didn't even realize that you even liked it. Which, I mean, did you even like it, or was it kind of like, okay, this isn't that bad? Because you, you kind of got pushed into it, and then it's like you're sort of forced to reckon with the fact that like, you're playing it.
Yeah, I think it was really more of like, this is not that bad, and I really like competing.
Okay.
That's what I like, and I realized that when I was 15. I will say that up until today, like being totally honest with you and like our viewers, I cannot tell if I really love or enjoy the game itself, or if that's not my passion. Definitely, like, people think that I'm passionate about chess. No, I'm not passionate about chess. I'm passionate about everything which is around chess. I'm passionate about the things that you can do in the chess community. I wanted to comment when you were talking about how you spent your free time, if you're allowing yourself watching movies or not. It's so funny because like when I met Peter, I was like so surprised that we have this thing in common, that both of us, we never watch any movies or TV series. And even now as a couple, we will always put some TV that's going to be either like, okay, it can be some politics, just to follow, what's happening in the world, or it's going to be some random like Levi Hikaru recap, some new, chess based India videos, like some old games. It's always going to be some chess random YouTube content, just as you said, watching Dina speedruns, which I will say a benefit of having a partner in the chess niche is like you can consume this, chess content together as your like chill time.
Yeah, that's nice, because as someone who's like not interested in chess at all, like I cannot relate to that. Like I would love to spend the evenings like watching chess videos, but I mean that's not gonna happen.
well, maybe because now you're already like your best chess friends are the best chess friends of your other half. So
maybe we'll work on it. I don't know. But
yeah.
I think it's big.
One step at a time. First they're exercising together,
Yeah, right. Soon it will be chess too. We'll see. Yeah, I think my favorite thing is now it's like before going to bed, I'll just like bring my iPad to bed and like watch chess videos there, and then I like fall asleep. Unfortunately, it puts me to sleep faster than I'd care to admit because it's already so late at that point. Yeah, that's been my chess content consumption, which again may be hurting me.
No, I think it's amazing, and I've been telling you this from day one. You are only like a year and a half in chess, so basically you are supposed to have still so much to catch on. Anything which is around chess is filling your gaps of context, of like chess world, chess dramas, chess niche, just some references and stuff like that. And like me doing a podcast with you together is so crazy because I've never felt there was something that you were missing out, but it's definitely always enriching you in cool ways. But
yeah, for sure.
And back to if I enjoy chess or not, yeah, it's like, chess for me is definitely my social kind of world. Like my following, my audience, everything that I've built, like the personality, it is literally the definition of a success in life. So this is like, chess is like everything. Like chess is your life. And so yeah, I just cannot imagine myself not playing chess. But like there are so many ways that people can love chess and what people love chess for and why people spend time with chess. And for me, definitely, it is not the game itself. Like if there is no clock, I'm not interested in playing game because there is no incentive. We can play forever. Like I'm going to win. No, like, and my biggest joy is actually being on camera while playing chess and trash talking people, and having that kind of bringing their personalities in and having fun, socializing basically. But yes, I also love competition when you like in a tournament you're not supposed to talk. But as soon as like say the same opponent that I was playing, like let's say like a grandmaster or like my level opponent, he comes to me and says, "Hey Dina, wanna play a game?" I'm looking at him like, no, why for? This is boring. Like we have nothing to play for, nothing to prove for. This is not a tournament game. Why would I want to play with you? Unless we're on camera, right? Then they're like, okay, let's do content. Let's create content. And it's so weird. And it's like, I never asked that questions ever until, again, I met Peter and I started having more chess like 24/7. It's interesting because he is actually very passionate. He's like playing online every morning. He is like kind of to wake up. He is like obviously runs a chess business, but also is like one of the best chess like educators and teachers, right? Also like a FIDE master, but like his USF is almost 2,400. Definitely has the knowledge of IM. I've never seen anyone consume so much chess content. There's no even a question, let's watch a TV series or let's watch a movie. No, we're gonna just put some random YouTube like chess thing. And I got used to it, but it was a shock to me. And it's like so fascinating. Like literally when we were going to bed, he's watching this games. Like yesterday he was watching Karyakin like beating Magnus. You know, that's his porn, you know, F4 consuming, you know, like kind of like Pornhub. So he doesn't play competitively. He doesn't want to because he knows he's gonna tilt. But he's gonna play any random casual game and have fun. And I'm the opposite. My relationship with chess is so different. I'm passionate about creating videos. I'm passionate about doing podcasts in the chess, you know, talking about chess. I'm passionate about motivating other people. All that to say, you can be any level, any age, and you can still find your place in chess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I can definitely speak to that also. And if you haven't played Over the Board, I highly recommend because it's like a totally different experience, way better than online in my opinion. You're on this quest to IM path, or so you say. I mean, I don't know, because it seems like you're a little back and forth on it, you know, like Levy's GM series, but yours is you already have all the norms and like you're very close. So Dina, IM when?
Yeah, great question, Emily, honestly, and thank you for asking. All my IM norms were actually WGM norms, and the last one was 2016, which is soon to be 9 years. Actually, 9 years already passed because it was in the summer. I just lacked rating 2400. My peak was 2364. It was in 2019. But before that, I already got my 4th norm, like which is like extra plus. I don't need it. 2018. And then in 2023, I did 2 great tournaments where I had like walked away only half a point from my 5th and then my 6th, blah, blah, blah. All that to say that, yes, I'm so freaking close to becoming an IM, but unfortunately, I just cannot get that rating. And now playing in US a lot doesn't help because you play against a bunch of underrated kids who are like 2,200 USCF, but 1,800 FIDE. Honestly, just that little push that I would need is probably also potentially a little bit lacking consistency, and that requires studying chess and doing this like daily puzzles, something that I'm guilty of. You know, like I may give you the best advice because I know how to do it, but I'm not necessarily the one who is implementing it simply because humans are having flaws. And yes, like I'm also guilty of not being disciplined enough to work on my chess, but I do believe one of the reasons is that because unfortunately I'm not as passionate about it. So the only motivation and the reason for me to become an IM is just to prove myself that I can do it and to show like everybody, hey, I have a male's title. I'm not just a women's title. You know, I can like be a male IM. It's definitely a cool thing, but I really need to want it more in order to put enough work or make it as a priority as my content. For example, like Road to IM, something that you guys would be passionate about. By the way, do let me know in comments because I would appreciate a little bit of motivational push from you as well. There were days when I used to feel like if I don't become IM, I'm like not gonna forgive it myself like the entire life because I wasted my talent and I wasted the potential. I didn't expand my potential in chess. But there were other days, or the days have come now, that I'm so happy and passionate and fulfilled with building my own business in chess and growing my content that I just enjoy it so much more. And it's just so much harder and harder to put that work ethic into working on my competitive professional chess, because almost like the amount of followers to me matters more than my rating, which shouldn't be, obviously. And I don't think that's true. I think both matter to me a lot. You know how you say you want something, but you don't really want it, or like you don't want it enough to put the amount of work needed. It's a complicated relationship with my IM title, you know, like that long-term relationship or on and off. And as of today, I'm resuming my training, which I haven't done this summer either. I'm resuming. I had a decent tournament just now. I trained every day prior to that, and I'm resuming my trainings on my streams. It's on Kick now, so you guys can tune in every week, few times a week, I'm going to be training specifically with Caden and also with Tony, potentially, if he's down to do a tactical challenge. Maybe this weekend, Tony, at your house, so we could do some, puzzle solving. But I will say, just like for you, for me, the main priority right now is going to be just to do a ton of puzzles, because just being able to calculate and doing like not blundering, because I'm also blundering. It's just like minor things, but on my level, if you blunder a pawn, you lose the game.
Yeah. What does your training look like today? I mean, when you're not in a lesson, you said puzzles, but like, is it a puzzle rush? Is it like you go on, do puzzles from a certain rating?
So what we do with Caden on lesson is like something that is more advanced, which you do puzzles more like serial moves in advance, and you need to think about them about like 10, 20 minutes and calculate multiple variations, and don't move before like at least 10 minutes have passed and have thought about 10 minutes on the position. That's kind of real life situations. And that's what we do together. And I'm supposed to do that at home, but I don't have the patience for that or focus. So I would just do like some puzzle rush survival or like 3-5 minutes, right? Usually they were considered a really dumb kind of work on the professional level, which you're not supposed to do. But I am actually a strong believer that any work is helpful. And specifically for me, it's really good. Just doing 1, 2, 3 moves, calculations, it's super helpful. So there is that. And another thing, unfortunately, for my level, it's a lot of openings as well. And openings are actually middle game, because when you study openings, it's not like 10 moves, it's usually 15 moves, and then it's a middle game already. So you really study the plans and the positions up until the end game. So there is a lot of that. And yeah, unfortunately, everybody grinds openings, so I have to do that too. But again, this is not applicable to your level or those of you who are watching. It's really once you are really in that competitive professional mode of being title player.
Mm-hmm. So how good do you think an adult can get at chess? Like someone who starts at, like in their 20s?
It depends how much time they can spend. Because I think to become a title player, you really need to spend at least 10,000 hours on this, like as on anything, right? So I do believe you can become, if you have a talent and you have a work ethic and you have the unlimited time, you can participate in competitions and do stuff. You can definitely get far. Like, I don't know, you can definitely become a title player. What people tend to forget, and oftentimes people are delusional when they think they're gonna become a grandmaster, it's not connected to your age. It's really connected to the amount of time that you can actually put into chess. Every single grandmaster, a person who has become a grandmaster, they have worked 6 hours minimum every single day for like maybe 10 years to get there. It should be your number one life priority. Like nothing else should matter. And unless you're willing and you're able to put that time and effort, you just can't become a grandmaster. I'm sorry, but it is not related to your age. Age is not a limit.
I mean, chess is not a physical thing. So why is it that like the older you get, the harder it is to compete against younger players?
When they say age doesn't matter at chess, what it means is that at any age you can improve, you can become a better player that you were a few months ago or a few years ago, right? Biologically, our brain is sharper at certain moments of our lives. Let's say learning a new language, it's easier when you are growing up, right? When you are young. But I do want to highlight that, let's say you start chess at 5, you start chess at 10 or 15. It's all the same, unless chess is going to become your number one priority. Like kids who become grandmasters at the age 14 or like at the age of 25, doesn't matter. Like people who become grandmasters at the age of 25, those people have not gone to school. Point. They've been either homeschooled or like school doesn't matter at all. They don't have an actual education unless like 1 or 2 people, right? In that regard, it doesn't matter what age you start. It has to be your number one priority to become grandmaster. It has to be the only thing that matters. Mm-hmm. And the only thing that's like your occupation, like your full-time job. Like you don't go to school, you don't go to college. No, all you do is chess. So I think that's kind of like what defines it. Mm-hmm. One of the things that are super important in working on your chess is also not like, why do I say that openings don't matter? It's also because what really matters is middle game. What really matters is end game, right? Us as kids in Russia, we literally start learning how to play chess, like studying chess from a king and a pawn versus a king. those types of positions, opposition, triangulation, like pawn promotion, square of a pawn, like the pawn square or square rule. So those things is like really basics. And that's how I teach my students this method. Like we really start from scratch, because like, what's the point of having so many pieces if you don't know what's the direction? You only think that it's a checkmate, but you're not going to attack the kingdom. What do you do? And people just get lost. And then one more thing, what I will like, that's very important to highlight in my opinion, is that why openings really don't matter is that you can memorize, let's say our friend Kenny, he memorizes openings. Like he knows all these names and like gambits and stuff like that. But once his knowledge finishes, like once he's out of the book, as they say, he has no idea what to do because he never like really studied like the middle game. So, and he knows that I've been yelling at him so many times. So shout out to Kenny. What's the point of learning all those openings if you don't know what to do once like your knowledge is over? And on top of that, your opponent is going to do definitely like some random move that you don't know wasn't on your list. So then you don't know what to do either. So you're just going to mix, you're just going to put some random ideas that you thought you saw, which completely do not apply to this position. And then your game is just not making any sense. So yeah, in my propaganda, I do like teach people to have a system, to have a system in their head, to know exactly what they're doing, to know how to navigate in any unknown position in the middle game, in the end game. Unless you're like 1800 FIDE, like maybe 1700 FIDE, you don't need openings. And 1700 FIDE is already like a 2000, like on chess.com. And when I say don't know openings, essentially, like when I say like you do d4, d5, c4, let's say they do e6, all right? You do some like knight c3, they do knight f6, like you just know your classics, right? You just understand how to develop pieces, right? Just do something like that and that's it. Just castle, just develop your pieces, whatever. Like you can trade here, like get just this position. I'm just setting up the position, right? You just do like whatever theory says, like, and then you just play. You got this position that you're out of the opening, solid position, Queen's Gambit exchanged, and then this is the middle game, so what do? You have no idea, but this is where you actually should have knowledge. You need to know the plans. Carlsbad structure, very typical for many openings. Queen's Gambit accepted, declined, like Nimzo, like Caro-Kann, like many positions, London, of course. So what's the plan here? For like in this pawn structure, Carlsbad's pawn structure, this is a pawn majority, this is a pawn minority. So it's gonna be minority attack. Essentially, you're gonna push these pawns here, prepare it, right? In order to create a weakness, like either they take and then they have these two kind of like targets for white, or they don't do anything and then you take and then they have this weakness, right? Let's say pawn is here. So what is black gonna do? They're gonna play on this side because this is where their pawn chain is like showing. So they're gonna play here, try to get some maybe attack going or just to create this pawn push here as well. Like maybe not this or maybe this, it depends. So sometimes you're just gonna trade pieces and stuff like that, which is also fun. You're gonna get into the end game and then you're gonna try to figure things out. But these are like just typical plans. Or let's say we're talking about King's Indian, right? Like King's Indian is an amazing example of how to set up plans, how to study not openings but plans, because it's not about the moves, it's about the position on the board, like essentially, for example, so d4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, bishop g7, e4. Like, what is the move here for players who play King's Indian? There's only one move, and it is d6. Why is it d6? Because I learned, because that's what the file says. No, that's not the reason. It's because white wants to play e5. I just played d4, I want to play e5. I want to kick your knight out. So d6 is not because you memorize it. It's because there is a logic behind it, because they cannot like do that now because you take, and then in the end game is going to be easier. Even though they have, in the end game, essentially, it's going to be an overextended pawn. That's going to be a weakness, but not like if you are just castling, then they're going to smash you. So d6, like, let's say we develop pieces. It's just like, I'm just showing you some typical setup for the King's Indian. They play e5 and you play d5. Okay, so that's like the standard tabia, as we say, of the King's Indian. What are the plans? Do you know how to understand the plans? What to do here? Like this is, first of all, you should like, okay, you can memorize that, but you really need to know the plans. And that's not about openings. It's really about middle game. And that's like, this pawn structure is called pawn wedge on d5. By the way, I have a YouTube video of that. You're going to look at the pawn chain and you see if you divide the board in two parts, you see that white has more space here with the advanced pawn and their pawns are looking that way, while black's pawn chain is looking this way, right? So that's how you know that your plan is going to be as a white to create like weaknesses here, get more space, while black is going to push here and try to create an attack, right? And your pieces, and you're going to like trade these pawns. You're going to try to get, you know, them to get your weakness, kind of maybe put your knight on c6, win this pawn, you know, something like that. Like this is like utopia, right? And then black is going to try to open here everything and try to create an attack and maybe checkmate you. And then whoever is faster, and that all like is on your level. Already like I can like simulate the game, how it's going to go in the right way. Sometimes when you know your opponent's plans, you can also prevent it. Like, let's say this, how you're going to attack here, like everything is closed, right? Or you're going to transfer your king over there and then like there's going to be no problem, you know, and then let him have this side on the board while you're like kind of getting everything there and then winning all the pawns. And that's like one of the reasons why we revamped our classroom material, is that there was too much information there, right? And people get overwhelmed. So we used to have our knowledge material, like instructions in the school as they should be exactly in the Russian chess school, which is, these are openings, these are middle games, these are end games, and this is tactics. And you do them in spiral, topic by topic. But that was too much information for people. That was too overwhelming. People were getting lost. They didn't know where to start, because you still have to put some work on self-studies, right? Even though we have group classes, 2 group classes a week. So one is with me, Game Reviews, and one is with Coach Alex, who is also a streamer, Alexandra Samaganova, FIDE Master, Women's FIDE Master. So hers are group lessons. And so 8 classes a week. But we also have one-on-one coaching calls, but there's still amount of work that you need to do by yourself, right, with the amount of material. And we just decided, okay, it. We're going to listen to what our clients want, and we're going to just design classroom study materials to group them by rating. Let's say for 800 it's going to be this classroom, for 1000 is going to be that classroom. But essentially, it's all going to be the same system. For every level, you're going to have openings, middle games, and end games. And then when you go to the next level, let's say you completed, like you graduated from your class, you became 1000, and you need to pass a test. That test, because it's a Russian chess school, you need to do with excellency. So you need to pass it 100%. And of course, you need to get your rating, ideally, you know, to 1000 at least, not like 950, like 85, right? So once you get that, you pass the test, you get to the next level, and you get like, let's say, unlock your next classroom for like 1000 to 1200. But even then, when you go there, do not get frustrated when you're gonna see the exact same topics. Just like with different exercises leveled up, right? Maybe like different videos, like with more complicated exercises, but it's going to be exact same topics. Because back to your question, how to work on chess, or like, what is it work at chess like? It's always in spiral. The same subjects, but with layers of complexity, tougher exercises, tougher, and more exceptions. Like, okay, this is a backwards pawn, but in this position, it's a strength, like in the Sicilian. Here, it's a strength, right? But then this is like a double pawns. They're supposed to be bad, but these are good because they're a group of double pawns and they're controlling the key squares, you know, like outposts. So black cannot do the outposts and stuff like that. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's kind of like, sorry, I went on the dungeon, but I actually got triggered about.
No, this is very insightful. I mean, that's kind of like, what I was asking. So stop setting openings, guys.
Well, when I say openings don't matter, like, I'm exaggerating. Of course, you need to, just to be confident, you should probably have like 5 moves in your pocket, just like knowing what you're gonna do. But again, for me, it's gonna be E4, E4, E5, D4, D5, like central, correct, you know, play, and then just build your repertoire upon that. You can play the London like you do, right? But what I hate, like, for example, one of the things...
I'm reformed, actually. I've been playing E4. It's been like a...
Okay, that's good. Like, one of the things that I was very mad at you is that, like, let's say you were playing this London, right? You did not know that because you're playing Jabava London, you would just push, but you didn't know, like, your knight is on C3, it's blocking the central C pawn. Like, the only justification to that is going to be if you put, like, you find a way to put 2 pawns to the center. So the plan is going to be to, like, once you do that, the plan is going to be to push E4. Remember? Because, like, you need to, like, get that knight out of this stupid C3 place where it has, like, your knight has nowhere to go. Look, like, this is a barrier. Your knight is, like, controlling, like is restricted. He cannot go anywhere. On top of that, like, I want to see this pawn on C4, But you decided to play Jabalana, so then yes, your plan is going to be to push e4. But see, that's the middle game strategy, and you were supposed to figure it out on your own, because you were supposed to think about, okay, how is my center? How is my opponent's center? Oh, this c2, a little bit passive. Shouldn't that be like something that I should use like as an asset, because it's a central pawn to put it in the center. Oh, how do I do that? And then my opponent has 3 pawns in the center and I have only 2. Something is odd here. And like, this is the main like small center. This is like a big center, small center. Like, can I control it even more? Oh, e4.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm back with her Russian chess wisdom. Very helpful. Thank you. I hope that the viewers were as enriched as I feel right now.
My pleasure. And I really I will be encouraging you to get to your goal. I think it's amazing. And I think like the right conclusion to the conversation of like when people say that they want to become a grandmaster and stuff and the different ages and starting to play chess, I'm all for setting up appropriate, obtainable, objective goals for yourself and getting there. And yes, you can get there. You just need to put the right goal. To set the right goal.
Yeah. Do you think mine's unrealistic?
No, I actually don't think so. I think you can get it. Maybe like this year, 1800, because again, like you have work to do.
Yeah.
You have a limited time. So maybe it's not 1800, maybe it's a 1700, maybe it's a 1600, right? It's like you can adjust. But also when you have such a high goal, maybe what's unrealistic about it is like, I strongly believe that you can become an 1800, but you need to do time frames and you really need to split it into mini goals. First, let's get to 1500. Then we're gonna have a, like, like a celebration. We're gonna go out, get some cocktails. Then you get to 1600. We're gonna, I can, listen, for every milestone, I'm inviting you like out.
Oh, okay. You guys heard it. We'll have to document.
Yeah, I'm treating you like we're getting 1500. We're like I'm taking you like to some nice.
That'll be like next week.
Okay, so 1500. I'm taking you just to a casual place.
Okay.
1600. I'm taking you to a fancy restaurant.
Okay.
And then we'll see. I'm not gonna go further. Let's just do this. You see, that's like my system, step by step. Like for me, it's not to get 2400. For me, it's just get back to 2300.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I will happily accept this offer and I will see to it that it happens.
I guess that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. If you don't know yet, my wonderful co-host Emily Plays Chess is right here. You can subscribe to her YouTube, follow her on Twitch and on Instagram. And I guess that was a beautiful conversation. Thank you for listening, for watching, and see you guys in the next video. Bye! Oh, that was great.
That was great.
Cute.